there. I wanted to holler at y'all real quick about this guy, Gene Deal. I've been hearing about him for so many years. It's like really weird that the stuff he was saying is finally taking P. Diddy all the way out. Puff is what he called him on his show every time I see him interviewing. I guess that's what they call P. Diddy in New York. It's funny though because when you think about somebody talking about somebody to that extent, you wonder why. Like, why would he talk about this guy like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would he really know this person? You know what I'm saying? Especially on the business aspect. Like, whereas he's my security. Like, okay, so fine. Why would you know personal stuff? Why would you know stuff and conversations that I'm having with other people? Because you would assume that security would be kind of off to the side, securing their surroundings, not necessarily sitting at the circle or the table with the people. That's the people who hired them. So the question is that guy a liar? You gotta let me know in the comment section or whatever when you hear this or watch this, because you see him so much on the internet. You kind of, it begs the question. It's like, are these people telling the truth? And then, like, for somebody like me, the next question I would have is, are they telling the truth? Is, why didn't you say nothing? Like, if this person was doing all this nefarious activity that you claim, you claiming it. Let me plug this in. So I can keep that charging. But anyway, it's like if you claiming all this stuff that Diddy did and you saw it or you was close to it, why ain't you never say nothing? Like, you waited till somebody invented the internet, and then you waited till you built up a YouTube channel, and then finally you start telling the truth about what's going on. I don't agree with that. I think that this guy's kind of, a lot of the stuff he's saying is just super flabbergastedly lies. You know what I'm saying? Because in the scheme of things, if you're a billionaire or millionaire, you're not going to have your security sitting up listening to everything you're talking about. And for somebody to be talking for 5 or 6 years about their experience with P. Diddy, you would assume that he hung out with this guy from high school all the way to 50, 40 years old. But he claiming his own right that he got hired by Diddy Bad Boy Company to be security. So why would security know about your personal life with you and your mother? Why would security know about your conversations with your girl? Why would security know about your conversations with people that you know, like in your business acumen? It wouldn't seem logical. You might find out some stuff. You might overhear some things. You might actually be somewhere close by in a car when things is discussed. But all the intricate stuff that guy be saying, it seems crazy. You know what I mean? And then, I ain't saying P. Diddy is not guilty in none of the stuff that he's accused of because I don't know him personally. And aside from just being a fan, I can't say nothing that no adult man did because that's his life. Is what he did is with his business. And if he got caught doing it, that's even more his doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me to judge or jury it. It's his life. But I do say that if he did do those things, then he gonna go down because it's nobody that's gonna just snake people and then just walk away clear. That's not how nothing works. You know what I'm saying? And it do work out for somebody that's a snake for a while. You look at them and say, damn, that nigga still on, or that lady still making it. But in the scheme of things, it all catch up to you. And it might not even catch up to that person, the way the world works and life works. It might catch your kids. It might catch your loved one. And then you be sitting back like, damn, was this connected to me? Could my bad karma be the reason why that happened? So that's another reason why you don't want to be doing too much of snake shit. But he was sitting at the top of the game for 30-something years, so he probably never imagined this happening. You know what I'm saying? Something taking him down. But Gene Deal was talking about him for so many years that it was a wonder, like, is he telling the truth? How could he know this stuff? The celebrity world is kind of weird because they keep everything so quiet. They don't never talk about stuff. Even if a person come out like that talking about them, they never say nothing. And that can be a bad thing. Even when I think about somebody like R. Kelly, who he let a rumor go out there that he was messing with little girls. Now, obviously, he was, but he never fought it. He never fought back for like decades. He never came out and said nothing. And it's kind of hard for him to say something if he actually married Aaliyah. I mean, what the fuck can you say? You know what I'm saying? But technically, he was a person who did let the rumor fester. So now when times change, younger people get older people die out, it's a whole new mindset in the world. And so now they looking down on that kind of person that want to mess with a young woman and do all that. So he got brought to justice. And same thing with Bill Cosby and all that stuff. And you could look at it as conspiracy theories, and it might have some validity. But at the end of the day, these guys work for white people. That's how they got rich. They went to work for white people, whatever the jobs was, wherever they told them to go to. The celebrity is a part of that scenario, especially for decades being involved or on to that extent for 30 years, you would assume that these guys were just all the way in, like they didn't do no wrong. But technically, it's going to look bad if somebody who you was rocking with is going to tear you down. Like, so for instance, his girl tore him down. So Gene Deal had been talking for years, but it never really stuck. You know, it was just like somebody saying some shit. Might have knew Diddy, might not. You know, New York is big. You know, probably ran into him, probably didn't, and hung with him after the fact of him knowing him as a security guard, but or just heard rumors. You know, because it's like a state or a city. Everybody gonna kind of know each other or know about each other, but when that girl situation happened, when the video popped out on her, it almost like solidified everything Gene Deal was saying. And so that's why I say it's bad to just let a rumor fester for years or a person go out there talking. Diddy probably would have cut Gene Deal off if he would have just picked the phone up and talked to him and just had a conversation with him and said, yo, nigga, what the fuck you doing? Look, man, hey, come over here, let's kick it, let's talk. Let me hang with you for a couple of times so you feel better, because what the fuck you doing is tearing down my name. But those guys get so high up on the totem pole that their mindset can't make them think like, let me go and fix this old disgruntled employee. They move on. Just like any other corporation. If you get fired from a job, they'll call you 6 months down the line and say, I hope everything worked out. Let me know if you're still looking for a job. They just forget about you forever. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Diddy was doing running a corporation. Like, I'm not finna contact these guys and make sure they okay. I don't give a damn. I'm going on. And so the internet came out, and now all of the stuff that he probably discussed or heard or whatever rumors, he on the internet becoming famous. Imagine that, becoming famous, talking you down, talking about how you dissed him. You was on your payroll, you paid him, you had the food, you flew him across the country doing the job, and then all of a sudden he just tearing you down month after month, show after show. It's salacious. So now another YouTuber want him, and another YouTuber want him, and now he could pay his rent off of just doing interviews about you. He can just go pay his bills. Like, okay, shit, I got a video Friday and another video next Tuesday, so that ought to pay for this little trip I'm going on with my girl. Like, he just basically living off the fact of tearing you down. But Diddy and those kind of guys, they be so high up, they don't see it as a defamation. They don't see it as a problem. They just leave it alone and let it go. And then something else hit. And could you imagine 3-5 years of videos of one person just tearing you down? Because now other guys and other people who didn't like Diddy, they could see that it's a choo-choo train to jump on. Now, they have been scared to do that before because they want to still stay in the industry. They didn't want to go down. But then after a while, they say, you know what, Gene Deal doing it. You know, now you got old boy, Self Love or something, whatever the guy's name is. He out there saying the same shit. Diddy tried to give me back my rights or whatever, but there's no money in the rights. So I told him I'll sell it back to you. He was saying in one interview. And so you could see how all the guys that Diddy was in cahoots with could have a gripe. Just like if a lot of people worked at Amazon Prime, a lot of people could not like the experience. Or if a lot of people worked at McDonald's or fucking Great America, whatever, it's going to be some people that didn't like that shit and some people that did. So, but you don't really see too many people make a YouTube channel about how much they hated working at Amazon or how much they hated working at Great America. They just move on with their life. So that's another thing that the celebrity do to you. It's like, man, I was flying across the country. I was in jets. I was in flights, man. I was kicking it, flying everywhere I was living. And then it quit, or you get fired, or the contract end. And now you back normal. You back in your city. You back in your house. You're not flying nowhere. You can't afford to fly none of that shit. So now you can imagine a festering mindset thinking like, man, fuck him. I saw him get high. I saw him get with this girl. He's supposed to be married. I saw him do. Your mind can start thinking in a negative way. Because who else is going to take you to this level? Flying you across the country, you doing security, you could be invited, you eating high-end in restaurants. Who else going to do you like that? That's it. It's only white people that got that kind of money. And then they're not going to hire you and especially have you close around them where you can experience some of the shit they're experiencing. Otherwise, security going to be in another car over there, outside, doing their job, not like sitting right up under me, chilling, listening to me, hearing me, taking notes. That's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might carry a briefcase with money in it. Yeah, you might carry a bag or something with some items or valuables. But that'll be what the fuck your job is to secure that and not think of nothing else but that damn bag. If anything happened to it, it's on you. So I can't see a person seeing and getting all this information and just years and years of videos about what he actually saw with Diddy. That shit just don't seem real. It's people who you probably dated in your life that probably never got a chance to know you like this or never got a chance to know you like that. And then they probably even don't like it. And you was like, well, I held back on that personality. I didn't want to show her that, because then all of a sudden she might expect me to do it all the time or whatever. You might be a person that like to buy shit for girls, but not this new girl. You ain't really trying to show her that, because then she might try to hit you up. Now by the next weekend, she holler, "No, I need you to loan me some money. I'm gonna loan my mama some money." Damn, I just took you to the restaurant. What the fuck? I ain't got it. So it's like you might hold back on some things. So for a person to say I was around Diddy and he let it all hang out, he a billionaire, but around me, he was himself. Huh? Maybe if you grew up with him from high school, or maybe you grew up with him in younger years, but I can't see you jumping on a job with somebody or a career objective situation, and now all of a sudden you know everything about them. So P. Diddy didn't put on the front for you. He showed his real true colors when you walked in the room. None of that stuff seemed real. It just seemed too fake. And I see that Gene Deal is having beef right now with a boy Choke No Joke. He's like a film director that was in the 90s. He did all the videos for like Rockefeller at a point. So they did an interview, and then, I thought they was cool, but then they start beefing. Sometimes that happen when the guys, they ain't really vibing with each other, or the interview didn't go the way they wanted it to, whatever happened. Maybe they doing it for fake, trying to get the interview more love and views. But at the end of the day, now Choke No Joke calling him out, and he calling Choke No Joke out about lies. And Choke No Joke is like one of them people that he was around Rockefeller all the time, literally around them. So he was in the industry, you know what I'm saying, as a participant, necessarily not just a rapper. I mean, a security. He was more like a camera guy. So he would be kind of privy to a little bit more information, not necessarily with P. Diddy, because he wasn't working for P. Diddy. But maybe he saw him at parties or events and shit like that. So he kind of called out old boy Gene Deal statements and stuff like that, because but again, it's the internet. So Gene Deal probably don't mind people saying he lying, because he's able to pay his bills off this shit, and it's conversation, it's information, it's people talking. So it's like, hey, you know what? I might be lying, but y'all watched it. I might be telling the truth, not lying about this scenario. But like my whole thing is that for a celebrity to see this all play out, if you was watching that from the times, you would see or know. Even my mother know who Gene Deal is. All right, my mother in her 70s. I said, "This is a guy named Gene Deal." She said, "I know him." I said, "Damn." She said, "He got all those videos." I'm like, that's how big it can get when somebody's putting out false information about you, and you might feel like you're on your high horse, or you somebody that can't be touched, or that dude is lying. I ain't gotta say nothing about that. How ridiculous do that sound? And everybody get to know the lie. Everybody get to know the fakeness. If it was true or not, it don't matter, because you said you're not going to respond to it. So now it just continued to fester year after year after year. And he did videos for all these years. Now all of a sudden, Diddy in prison. Well, Diddy had another bump, because remember the interview with uh, Shannon Sharp that Cat Williams said, and he said, Diddy got a party, and you got to tell him no. You know what I'm saying? He said, "I'm trying to protect that virgin booty hole." And he was making a joke about it, but 9 months later, Diddy's in jail. You see how it worked out? It's like it didn't miss him. It's like, okay, we always sitting watching that interview. And I remember 77 million, 78 million people didn't seen that video, the most biggest interview on the internet. So that's a lot of opinions. And everybody heard that statement. Even the prosecutors, even the jury, potentially heard those stories about Diddy from Cat Williams. If they didn't know nothing about Cassie video, they didn't watch the news that weekend, they all saw that video. 78 million people. So some people saw that, and now you got to fight for your life, because the message go out there that not only did you all this stuff that Gene Deal been saying, and other producers or writers on the music that you did in the years, other people from bands or whatever you was around them, did contracts, people died. G. Depp got out. Another guy got out of prison. It's a lot of stuff that in 30 years you had a kind of a connection to, whether it was good or bad, or people took it as good or bad. And now the situation came out with that big interview. Big interview. 78 million people heard somebody say, "You attracted to men, and that's all you want to do is get with them and make them do stuff against their will." Then he didn't say nothing behind that. Quiet. Crickets. Nothing. They do not speak. And then all of a sudden, boom, the video pop out. First he said he had nothing to do with that shit. Then the video pop out. Oh shit, he got to say something. Finally he spoke. But he didn't talk about nothing else but just that video. And then after that, now all this stuff that came down the pipeline on him. So I look at the people like Gene Deal. You can't really diss him, because I don't know his experience. Maybe this shit did happen. It's his life. So I can't say none of this shit happened. You know what I'm saying? It's his world. But at the end of the day, for somebody like P. Diddy to let that go out there for that many years, and I would have picked that phone up on his ass twice or three times and filmed it and played him like we was cool. Like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, but I guess Diddy couldn't do that. Diddy was looking at it like, man, I'm talking to that motherfucker, man. And so it's like that again, just like with R. Kelly. You let the messages go out there so long that people just kind of get tired of seeing your face. And it's like, if anybody gonna go down, why he ain't went down yet? You know what I'm saying? It's just the people get to choose now. You know what I'm saying? And again, a lot of the shit they was accused of is legitimately true. And I'm a bet. If I was a betting man, I would say with P Diddy the exact same way. A lot of shit people saying is true, because what would make people even say all that shit? Like, if you at the crib with your lady at night, or you with your kids, or you doing this, and well, how could somebody even put you in a scenario like that? You know what I'm saying? But all this shit adds up, if you will. That's what the evidence is looking like. Oh, okay, you got all these jails and Greece, and then they say you like men and all this shit, and then, you know, you having parties and they male prostitutes. You know, you can, and so it's like, now you stuck in jail for 5 months. Imagine that. It's not even January. It's 5 months from January. He ain't even in January. We in October. So he probably got to sit down for 8 months. It's almost like you're going to have to do a year in jail. It's almost like, you know, I do filmmaking. You can imagine, right? So my brain would say, because you know, you always kind of make some kind of fictitious idea from things that you experience or hear about. And I'd be like, okay, when P. Diddy became a billionaire, he had to go meet the other billionaires on some yacht, some kind of thing or whatever. And they all sitting around and they talking. They were like, congratulations, you're in the billionaire class now. And he like, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. And they was like, but you're not a billionaire until you do one thing. And he was like, what? What, buy a yacht? Fucking own an island? What you need? Fucking, I own my own charter plane, airline? And they like, nah. You take $250 million and you pay for a year in prison. What? Who the fuck would do that? Look, Johnny did it, Tony did it, all of us did it. Remember when that case you heard about when the Enron went down? That was Eddie over there. Remember when you heard about this other guy who made off? That was him a part of that. They all did their time. They came home. They still rich. And P. Diddy like, I ain't doing shit like that. And they like, well, you know, if you don't do it, then, you know, when those scandals come down, you could really get hit upside the head. So if you just pay for your own scandal, you should be okay. It's all right. Everybody knows when you put the money in, the ball start rolling, and you'll be done. And you give it a year or two. You sit down, you take a time off, you go and put you in a nice cushy ass cell. You won't be around no violence, none of that stuff. Now, can you sit in the jail for 23 hours without going crazy? He be like, why would the fuck would I do? I don't understand what y'all said. Why would I want to involve myself? Look, man, you get the money back, you know, you go back to your normal life. You just be a millionaire. There's nobody, no problems. Nobody gonna say nothing. This conversation never happened. If you do it, you stay a billionaire. You come home. It increase even more. You your 250 million is 100 million up front to go to prison, and the 150 second 150 million is to pay for your name to get flipped back, and then everybody love you in about 2-3 years. You want to do it? You want to try it? And he's sitting back like, can I think about it? Because I don't know about no shit like this. This don't sound like something I could do. Prison? You talking about sitting in a fucking jail? They be like, look, you talking about Brooklyn. You grew up in Brooklyn. The damn prison right over there. It's nothing. You can do it. 250 million, you could probably be another billionaire 10 times over after this. And he like, you know what? Let's do it. And that's what P. Diddy did. So all of this bull crap and salacious crap, he paid for it. It's a marketing tool. It's when you become a billionaire, what you got to go through. And then it's like I guess they call it an initiation or some shit like that. And it's like, you know, this is what you got to do to be in the billionaire class. And if you don't do it, eventually it could come back. And you can see it right now with this girl, Jaguar Wright. She's doing the exact same thing that Gene Deal did, where she had an experience with Jay-Z, whether it was a weekend or 5 years. I don't know. I don't know them personally. And every video, or just about, she has this conversation about Jay-Z, and he did this, and he was with this girl, and what about him? And you know the stuff he against. And I don't know if you heard, but she was on Piers Morgan show maybe about a week ago, and she had the same conversation, you know, saying Jay-Z is one of those people, and Beyonce was at the parties, and Jay-Z lawyer got on there and told him, hey, you better take that goddamn video down, Piers Morgan. And if you don't take out the part where she says that about my clients, they'll be suing the hell out you. You call yourself a real journalist. So if you're a real journalist, you know not to put nothing up here that is not backed. And Jay-Z and Beyonce is denying everything about that lady. My old boy took that shit down quick as hell and made an apology on his YouTube channel. Piers Morgan, the white dude, he used to work at like MSNBC and got fired for whatever reason. And so he got his YouTube channel now. But again, he kind of being salacious and trying to stay within the mix of bullshit. You know, he get a lot of views. Man, that's interesting because those people are billionaires. You see, what's his name going down? What's his name? Jay-Z, I mean, Diddy, and you wonder, like, well, shit, I did see Jay-Z and them. You mean to tell me none of these guys had nothing to do with what Diddy was doing? All of them was just there at the nice part. They never stayed late night. They never went over to there when everybody had showed up that was in the naked moments. Like, nobody, that was all they did is just sit back and just come over there when the daylight times and shit. Like, that make you kind of beg the question. I doubt it. I think they seen all that shit. They was around it. They experienced it. They knew what was happening, but they chose either not to say nothing or they chose not to actually put P. Diddy under. And they just let that shit happen and they go leave and go to their own homes. You would never know. Again, none of us is in it, so we can only assume. And with 2,000 and 3,000 people saying something, it probably did happen because that's a lot of motherfucking experience of people have, whether it's lies or not. One thing is for sure, when he do that class action suit, when they do their class action suit, whether he's found guilty or not, in the criminal case, he's going to have to spend out a lot of money because those people going to feel affected mentally and every other kind of damn way. Even though boy Choke No Joke, he had a bad experience with Jay-Z, and when he started his channel, that's what he was talking about. But he also was the camera guy for Rockefeller, hired by Dame Dash. So a lot of stuff that they was doing back in the 90s, for DVDs or whatever, he was the guy behind the camera on that. So, but when he opened his YouTube channel, I had never heard of him before YouTube came around. So then when YouTube came around and you hear, oh, I'm a filmmaker, he did the stuff for Jay-Z and them back in the 90s, and I was interested in the video. You remember that video where Dame Dash was yelling at the producers at that meeting that Jay-Z set up, but he didn't know Jay-Z set it up. Choke No Joke was actually the camera guy filming that footage that day. He the one who released it, matter of fact, and that's how we all know about it. That's how I found out who Choke No Joke was. But that's what he did. He started his YouTube channel dissing Jay-Z because apparently a long time ago, he showed up to an event that Jay-Z was performing at, and Jay-Z at that time wasn't in the cameras. He didn't want no cameras on him. So when he popped up and filmed it, Jay-Z told his henchmen or his guys, his buddies, or his guys behind the scenes with him to go get that footage from dude. But when they ran up on him to get the footage, Jay-Z sent them. They didn't walk up and say, hey, give us the tape. Or if they did, they only asked once. And then it was he got roughed up. But he sued Jay-Z and got like $300K or whatever he got from that. And after suing that, he kind of stayed away from them or played off being around them so much, you know what I'm saying? Because you know how you going to sue your boss and then think you're going to still be the cameraman around them. But, that was just a tough situation for him because now today you can see how important cameras are. But at that time, people were still kind of leery. It was no cell phones and all that shit still wasn't around yet, especially with cameras on them. So he got jumped and shit. So, but now he did a lot of videos dissing Jay, but then he kind of smoothed out over the time where he still talk about Rockefeller. But I think that people in the audience, the comment people was telling him they're getting tired of hearing about it because you're not even around them. Like today, you haven't been around them for years, and that was a big part of your life. But move on. And if you look at Choke No Joke YouTube channel, he got all kind of shit going on there now. It's not about Jay-Z. It's still about Rockefeller because that was his life. But it wasn't just about how Jay-Z need to go to prison for what he did. And imagine getting jumped on by the biggest rappers' buddies. You ain't gonna really like this nigga. I don't give a shit what song he put out. You're gonna always be like, this nigga got me jumped on. And fuck him for that. Even if you had to sue him and you did win, you're not gonna be a fan of this person in your future life. You're gonna look at this motherfucker like a clown. Like, this nigga got me jumped. I'm tired of him. Don't ever speak about this motherfucker again. You know what I'm saying? So, they didn't make a movie. If you asking that Michael Nelson, they didn't make a movie, my brother. They made a documentary. It was like that was what they was doing at that time with Choke No Joke. But I'm just saying it didn't make it. He moved on his channel. He didn't stay to just talking about Jay-Z. Oh, girl, what's her name? Jaguar White. She's kind of on that with Jay for whatever reason. She was on like a one of those videos where they were like singing live or something like that, and she was his actual background singer for that video. But I don't know if they got other videos together because I'm not really privy to their background. But I know Jay-Z ain't do too many more songs with her because we would have probably knew about them. You know what I'm saying? And then she could have did a lot of songs on an album. You just really just background singing, so it's not like you really was checking for that. But good for her if she did. But whatever those scenarios was, it got her hating him, and she ain't letting up. You know what I'm saying? So, Gene Deal, I think that if you talk about a leader in hating a billionaire or a leader in taking down a billionaire, I would probably give him an A in the game because he made sure that his experience with P. Diddy got out there to the people, and he made sure that how he saw P. Diddy, people was able to understand that from his vantage point. So I think that that's what you would call somebody's peace or somebody's reality. You know what I'm saying? His perspective. You know what I'm saying? This is what it was like for me to be security. And if you think about it, white people do this all the time. We'll be all in the crib watching some Netflix movie about some white bodyguard who was bodyguarding fucking Celine Dion or bodyguarding some fucking somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's big. Or bodyguarding fucking a singer or whoever. And it will be all watching a movie and shit and saying, oh my God, look at that experience that this guy had to go through. You know, the gang was trying to kill him and he had to go out there and quell the situation, but he ultimately got jumped. You know what I'm saying? And these scenarios that the bodyguards got to go through is rough. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I say a lot of times being around a billionaire or somebody that was as rich as P. Diddy, that could dramatize your ass. It really could because it's like a shell shock. It's like a culture shock because you've never been rich like that. You've never been inside these bougie restaurants. Could you imagine P. Diddy not ever eating a Big Mac again when he started getting rich? He's probably never even had that kind of shit no more. He eat caviar and bougie food like that, or got some kind of special chef at the crib that travel everywhere he go. So that's where I would assume that Gene Deal could not have known everything about Diddy. He could not have known everything that Diddy life have done since he been a celebrity. He could not have make all of these statements about P. Diddy and be correct. Yeah, he probably got some background with P. Diddy. Yeah, he probably got some hours and months or weekends where he was with P. Diddy 24 hours. But his life, to know everything about him, what contracts he got going, I think some of that shit's fake. He even got a point where he said he was sitting in the car with Diddy the day before Diddy, I'm sorry, with what's his name? Biggie, the day before he got killed. How would we know that? And then why would it take you so many years to say that Diddy died in 1997? You didn't say that to 2020 something? And the internet been around for years, man. I mean, this stuff you probably would have said before now, but I think that feeling that seeing P. Diddy life being at such a high level and then you got to leave that connection behind. And, you know, it's like those girls who be with these celebrities and shit, and then they want to be with them, but then the guy was like, that was just a one-night stand. And now the girl like, what? Motherfucker, you touched me. You did this inappropriately. You raped me. And the guy like, wait, hold the fuck on. No, I didn't. And it's like, well, I was in the room with you by yourself. It's your word against mine. You got to go to court. And he and this bitch like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. It's like, I guess the only way to really galvanize that reality is be careful who you let around you. But how can you actually be that? How can you actually do that? Be careful who you let around you. How can you confirm that that's a good way to be in? If you hired a person from a firm, or you hire somebody from your old hood to be your security or be a bodyguard, it's almost like they still got to be a good person because you're not thinking every moment about that person. Like, okay, is this motherfucker happy? Hey, how you feel over there, man? You good? You're probably not going to be moving like that. If you hire this person, you're going to expect them to do their job and understand that when it's time to move, it's time to move. Do your part, which is make sure we secure, make sure my body is safe, and we move to the next spot. But if you around me and you taking notes and you picking up forms and reading them and you going inside the fucking booklets and cases and shit, reading up on stuff and learning more information, then ultimately try to use this information that you basically stole to fucking against me, again, that's just bad people. So I can't say that Gene Deal is a good guy, but I'm happy that he got it off his chest, you know, because maybe the experiences for him was so big that it all seemed fucked up. Even, you understand what I'm saying? Like, maybe he felt like everything is bad, you know what I'm saying, seeing it, and he couldn't get away from it. Like, you know what, I'm finna just walk away from this shit. It's like you just around this shit and you seeing everything happening around you and it's just like overwhelming. But it's like still got you pulled into it. You can't just walk away. And then when he was able to finally find the strength to walk away, he did. But he also now gotta send so many shots at Diddy to make sure that everybody know who Diddy was from his perspective. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this shit, man. Is Diddy this monster that Jim Dill is referring to? I didn't see that when I was coming up. We were just fans of Diddy. I didn't know him personally or none of his personal dealings. So Diddy never responded. He never came out and said these people are lying. He never came out and said I'm not like that. He let all of the accusations hold over, and it could have been lawyers that said don't do that, but that's what he did. So now he's in prison, and he's sitting not prison but jail, and he will be sitting there till May, and that's just till the fake trial start, because you know they're gonna be like continue, 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 continue. So he's not gonna have a trial in May. It's just that that's when it's supposed to start for him. But one thing for certain and an absolute fact is that he will be sitting in jail for the first time for almost a year. So you let me know in the comment section, did he pay for this? Is my movie theory dope? Is my movie theory the way that it probably played out? Or is it just nothing? And if the movie theory is the way you think it played out, then I would love to try to make a movie from that vantage point, because somehow my theory, my conspiracy theory believes that if you got that kind of money, you could pay for this kind of stuff to have an experience. It's like this movie that came out with Michael Douglas when I was young called The Game. And at that movie, it was like his brother was paying for a birthday gift, but it was the most extravagant birthday gift ever. And it was almost like he was about to kill himself after he had done this process. I think it was a phone call. I don't remember the movie so much. It came out when I was very young. Like a phone call got him caught up in this scenario. And it's almost like the P. Diddy scenario. But P. Diddy in jail right now, and he's sitting back like, okay, when does this end? I mean, assumably. And then we assuming he's in prison. He could have paid to walk right out the back door of that motherfucker and be in a mansion some damn well. And only pop back out when it's time for him to put the jumpsuit on again and go in court. You would not know, because we're not billionaires and we don't know none of the people they know. We just going off the perception of he's caught, he's guilty, and he's gonna be going down. But we really technically do not know. You know what I'm saying? And if you got billions of dollars, I'm sure there's some people that do not have billions of dollars that might want to risk it all and be like, you know what, if I'm gone or I lose this job, my family be taken care of. So, hey, just go to the hotel across the street, lay down, and come back in the morning. I wouldn't know. And then it could be strict. It could be hard. And he's doing a hard time like any other person who did a crime. And it's like, hey, now you from living and flying across the world, you sitting in a cell for 23 hours a day. And when they call you to come up, you got to put your hands up in the little window. They handcuff you, back you out, walk you down the damn street, or the galley, whatever they call it, the tier. It could be possibly just like that. And then it's just a hard time sitting in the cell. All you got is your time and you, and four walls, and that's all you got all day, every day. Because you know, as a celebrity, he can't be around the regular people, especially at this point. He got to get acclimated to being in jail, just being away from home, away from life, away from the holidays, and sitting in the building every single day. Food, clothes, everything come from this location. And the only way, I think they said one of the best ways for you to get out your cell is that you got lawyers, so that you pay them to come around the clock to talk to you, you know, about the case. And then that keeps you in the visiting or the lawyer section, so you're not sitting in your jail cell. So it's like, oh, you got family. And it's like, okay, well, around the clock, y'all, you know, everybody come in here, keep coming in, and then I get a visit all day until the visit is over. And then the next day, again, y'all come visit me, keep me out the cell. This is what your billions of dollars is going to be needed for now, because you're going to need money. You're going to need money more than ever now if you're going to survive. Because think about the gangsters or the thugs or the killers, and they walking up on you like, yeah, well, you ain't nobody to protect you from me now. I could just do anything I want to do to you. The only thing going to save you from that is if you be like, hey, this is over here, and I send it to your family, and they good. Just send me their Cash App, and I would like that. You know what I'm saying? And that dude, them sitting over there like he just cashed out all six of us $50K a piece. I was able to get my daughter through school. I was able to kick my son in the car. Ain't nobody touching him in this place. You know what I'm saying? Because he's rich. So it'd be different or difficult for somebody to get to him, because he could just pay for protection. You know what I'm saying? So that's another way I don't see nothing happening to them. Even in the sheriff department, those people, it's people who sneak guns and drugs in there, who have sex with the inmates. Everybody not perfect. You know, it's not this TV idea that when you go to jail that it's just so hard and dogmatic for you. It might actually not be so bad. You go to jail, the motherfuckers open doors for you and be like, hey, if you need us, we got you. Hey, come through. We open the door for you. What you need, man? You ain't got to worry about nothing in here, boy. Anybody do anything to you, you let me know. I run all this. You know what I'm saying? And you got, whoa, shit, okay, I guess I'm okay. How would we know? We would not know that. You know what I'm saying? So, but all these things is questions that need to be answered. Y'all got to let me know what y'all think. I'm finna jump off here, man. Thank y'all for listening. And let me know in the comment section about what y'all think about Diddy and Gene Deal. Gene Deal crazy?